Hi guys! So today I decided to do another storytime video. Just before I start and say anything about it, the next video should hopefully be a Q&A. So if you guys have any questions that you want answering, then please comment down below and then I may pick your question. But yeah, so today's video is going to be about the time that I met a guy through Tinder and he proceeded to leaking my nudes. So basically, in January, I was ready, or I thought I was ready to be in a relationship again, to start meeting people, going on dates and all that stuff, which I was doing. Going on these dates and meeting new people and getting to know people. And one of these people was a French guy who I met through Tinder when I was in London the last time, that's when we matched. And so the second time I go to London, I'm like, hey, I'm going to go to London. Do you want to meet? He was like,
yeah, sure. We can go for a coffee date at a cafe in central London.
I was like, yeah, I'm so down for that. He was actually very nice. And so I was like, yeah, I'll go. So I go, and my best friend from Australia from the last video, she wasn't mentioned, but she's part of that group. So she was still in England and she was in London, and I was like, okay, I'll meet you and then I'll meet him in the evening so we can have like a coffee date, in the afternoon or something. So she was in London. I was like, I'll just spend the day with her and then I'll go and meet him. And I get a message from him. Actually, I messaged him. He didn't bother messaging me at all throughout the day. So I messaged him. I'm like, hey, do you want to meet? Are you still up for the date? And he was like,
oh, actually, I'm really ill. Do you want to come to mine instead?
And I was like, I am not going to a stranger's house the first time I meet them. No. So I was like, well, no, we could just meet the next time. He was like,
oh no, it's safe, it's fine. I can come pick you up from the train station or something. But, I don't really have money to travel to central London at the moment. No one's home. No one else lives here. It's just me.
And I was just there like, I'm not meeting this guy. So at the time, I was beginning to get to know someone who later on went to become my boyfriend. I'm going to name him James, and I'm going to name the French guy Jean-Paul, just to be stereotypical. So Jean-Paul's all like,
hey, I want to see you, and
I'm like, well, no. And I just completely ignored him, and then I ended up in a relationship with James. I go to see James, and he lives in London as well. So I went to visit him. So we're just chilling or whatever, and I tell him about the whole situation with the French guy from the last time, because when I first, decided to meet up with this French guy, my friend James at the time, he was still my friend, he was like,
don't do it, I don't think it's a good idea.
And he was really against me going, and I was like, nah, I'll go see him. And he was like,
no, unless he comes to see you, do not go, it's not safe.
And all this stuff and blah, blah, blah. And I was like, okay, I won't go. But when I decided to be in a relationship with James, we start, it comes up in conversation, and we start speaking about the whole situation with the French guy. And he was like,
oh, do you remember on Twitter when there was this whole spread of waste his times?
And I was just like, are you thinking what I'm thinking? And he was like,
I'm thinking what you're thinking.
And then we both decided, let's waste this motherfucker's time, because he wasted mine. I traveled all the way to London to see him, all the way to London to see him, and he didn't bother showing up because all he wanted was to see me in his apartment. Just the two of us, whilst he was ill. Who wants to go on a date with someone when they're ill? Who wants to go on a date when they're ill? No. So, yeah, so my boyfriend James at the time, he was very mad still. He was just like, for fuck's sake, I can't believe he made you waste your money and your time going there, so let's do the same to him. So I messaged Jean-Paul, and I'm like, hey Jean-Paul, what's up? And he was like,
oh, nothing.
I was like, well, I'm in London right now, I'm visiting a friend, so, do you wanna meet up? And he was like,
oh no, well, where?
And I said, at the shopping centre, which was near my boyfriend James's house at the time. And Jean-Paul's like,
the shopping centre? Well, I don't know, it's quite far to travel to get to there.
Because he lived about an hour away from that shopping centre. I was like, oh, okay. So I'm just like, fuck, he's not going to come and see me. And it just kind of strengthened the idea that he is a fuckboy, which he is. Hi Jean-Paul, if you're watching this, I know you are because you stalk all my videos and you get your friends to do it too.
There's a bird staring at me. It's literally outside my house right now. It is staring at me. Hi, birdie. Hi. Okay, no, it flew away. Anyway.
So James is like,
let's Google a picture of someone's butt and send it to him.
So we Googled a picture of a girl with really long brown hair. My hair was already blonde at the time, but I previously had super long brown hair. So it was like a girl with really long brown hair, really nice butt, super cute underwear. Literally, I wish I was that girl and I had that figure. So we Googled that picture and we send it to him. And we were like, oh, what about now? And he was like,
I mean, I guess I could come, you know, just fine. Like, yeah, sure, why not? Like, I could be there within like an hour.
so he was just like so up for going to see me. It was really weird. It was like, okay, so all of a sudden you want to see me now that I sent this booty pic of someone who isn't even me, but you think it's me because you haven't seen my body. And the funniest thing is, I have a huge scar. If you saw my body posy video, you can see I have a huge ass scar on my back. That picture, pretty obvious there is no scar. So pretty obvious it's not me, and I don't send nudes and stuff, so couldn't have been me. So he's just like really excited to see me, and I'm like, okay, fine, yeah, sure, we can meet. And he was like,
oh, but can it just be me and you? Even though you're staying at your friend's house, can it just be me and you? Cause
I told him that, James told him that my best friend who I was staying with was like, her house was free until 9 p.m. And this was like at midday or something that we were messaging this guy. And so we're just there laughing our heads off, and he's like,
can it just be me and you know, so we can get to know each other first, and then we'll go back to hers.
And I was like, yeah, sure, yeah, I can totally meet you. And James is just there like,
okay, we got him.
Jean-Paul is all excited, and he's like,
yeah, I'm gonna get with this girl, gonna bang her, blah blah blah.
and I was like to him, oh yeah, just remember to bring the condoms. And he was like,
yeah, don't worry about it, babe. Don't worry about it.
I'm like, okay. But in reality, I was just there laughing my head off because I knew I wasn't going to show up. So this guy travels for like an hour or something, and he goes all the way to the shopping center near my boyfriend at the time's house, and he's just there like,
hey, I'm here.
and I was like, oh, send me a picture of where you are, then I can see you, because I'm in the shopping center too. And he sends me a picture, and I'm just there like, ha ha ha. I was still at James's house at the time, and he's just like,
oh yeah, where are you?
I was like, oh, go inside. And James decided to send him on a scavenger hunt, and he was literally like, go inside, take a right, go up the stairs, go to that shop, wait in there. And then when the guy would get there and take a picture, we'd be like, actually, I went into Costa, or actually, I went into this shop. And he would just constantly have to keep moving around for about 2 hours or so. We were just like, yeah, we're just wasting his time. You wasted my time, I waste your time, bitch. And so Jean-Paul is just there, like, so mad by the end of like 2 hours that he's been waiting for me to show up when, I actually wasn't going to show up at all. And he's just there, like, going mad. He's going on a mad one. He's calling me a witch. He's saying, like, I'm a horrible person. He never wants to see me again, to never message him again. And I'm just there laughing so hard because you don't play Jessie. Jessie will destroy you. And he's just there like,
just you wait. Bit of advice, you shouldn't send news to someone who can destroy your life.
For something. I'm like, it's funny because those nudes aren't mine. It's a picture that I found off Google, and it's not even a nude, it's like a underwear selfie, so it's like a booty pic. So I was just there like, okay babe, sure babe, you good, you do you have fun. And he like blocked me, and he just disappears for about 2 or 3 months, and all of a sudden now he's like commenting on all my videos, saying like putting the link up of her full conversation. And I really do suggest that you go read that conversation. I'm gonna link it down below actually because it's just hilarious. But yeah, so the moral of the story, don't waste my time. Whoever I am seeing at the time, they are going to be protective of me because I only go for people who are protective of me. And they will get back at you, you know, probably by wasting your time back. Like, this isn't like a threat, like, oh yeah, I'm gonna beat you up or something. Like, no, it's just, you know, innocent stuff like this. Like, I just find it absolutely hilarious because we made him waste his time and his money and his patience and all that stuff. But I really do hope that Jean-Paul, if you're watching this, I really do hope that you've learnt from this and don't just play people and think,
I'm only gonna meet up with this person so I can have a quick shag.
because that shit ain't happening, honey. But yeah, moral of the story, don't waste my time because I will waste yours back twice as hard. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Any links to my social media will be down below if you want to look at that stuff. There is a shorter version of this story as a tweet, like in a tweet form on my Twitter, but this is a longer version because a few of you were asking me for it, so here it is. I hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you guys very soon, hopefully. I love you, I love you, I love you. Mwah. Bye.